Facebook stuff. Sometimes it confuses me, but I don't think I'm alone. So, welcome. Welcome today on Instagram. Welcome on Facebook. We are talking today about the law of attraction and whether you believe in it or not. And I thought it was a good subject to discuss. I think it's a very important one. It's one that I work with within myself often. It's one that I struggle with. I guess I feel that I'm trying, I put out the positive beliefs, I work on that. Yet, as soon as I'm not aware of what I'm thinking, my thoughts become negative. And then I start attracting negative things in my life. So the awareness is huge. And that's why the practice is so huge, because you get to work on it. You get to focus on the awareness. You get to be aware of what you're thinking, what you're putting out there energetically, and then what you are attracting into your world. So we'll discuss this in detail today, and please feel free to comment. We've got the comment box open, so of course, please write any of your comments there. We could start with just a simple question. Do you believe in the law of attraction? Yes, no, or not sure? And I'd love to hear from you. So write it in the comment box. Let me know if you believe in the law of attraction. We'll give people a couple minutes to jump on. I always like to give them the first, 0 to 5 minutes to jump on if they want to join live today. And then we'll get into it. We'll start talking a little bit about what the law of attraction is. And if you have questions along these lines as well, please throw them in the comment box. I always like to come into kind of a present moment awareness by using a breathing exercise. This is one of the handiest tools that you could have in your toolbox regarding pain, regarding disease, regarding wellness. So if you'd like to join me, you can find your feet planted on the earth. And take a moment to feel your feet connected to the ground. Let them kind of lean into the earth. So you're in a way letting go as you're dropping the weight into the feet. Moving up to the pelvis if you're seated, noticing the pelvis on your seat. And again, letting it kind of go, letting it drop down into the support of the seat beneath you. And then imagining you have a string at the base of your spine or your tailbone, and it's gently tugging all the way up to the sky. Through the spinal column, you're getting a little bit taller from that place of rooting through the pelvis. You might feel the need to kind of roll the shoulders back and down or forward. Notice if your shoulders kind of want to creep up towards the ears. If so, this can be one of the things that we're not aware of through the day when we're stressed or tense. See if you can invite them back down, sliding the shoulder blades down your back, shoulders down away from your ears. And then once you've kind of set up your foundation, your awareness through your body, notice your breath coming and going through the nose. Maybe you'd like to take a cleansing breath in through the nose, out of your mouth. You can notice I kind of let my shoulders come up as I inhale towards the ears. And then drop down with the exhale and release. One more. Returning to a nose breath if you can today. And see if you can keep that awareness in a kind of relaxed or soft way. Usually, when we first start practicing, setting up that kind of foundation in the body can feel uncomfortable. And that's okay. So, if your body is wanting to kind of slouch, maybe like it normally does, or move in some other way, let that happen and then bring your awareness back to what we set up: feet on the floor, pelvis on the chair, energy lifting from pelvic floor all the way through the spine out of the crown of the head. And then a nice full nose breath. So we're allowing for space in the body, we're allowing for integrity in the body. The fascia can kind of stretch out from this foundation that we've set up. And then with the breath, the diaphragm, we're actually massaging through the internal organs, through the fascia that surrounds the diaphragm, the rib cage. And a lot of people who have not, maybe have lost their connection to their breath over time, might start yawning because the fascia is restricted there. And so with practice, the yawns will go away because the fascia is no longer restricted and the diaphragm can move up and down. It's basically your deepest core muscle, can move up and down freely without restriction. And so if we have that muscle working properly, everything else layers out to start working more optimally in the body as well. So that's a diaphragmatic breathing, breath awareness that you can check in with throughout your day, can focus on. I am going to jump into the law of attraction. And so even in regards to, say, the breath, when we start to focus on the breath, you're going to start to attract a deeper and more optimal breath, right? If we don't focus on it, we're not aware of it, we're kind of tuned out, we don't know what's going on with the breath. And often, because we don't have that intention there, the breath can start to become shallow, especially if you're in bodies that are dealing with chronic pain or disease, stressed bodies, anything that, even your thoughts. I talk about this a lot. Negative thoughts can stress the body. And I remember this quote I learned years ago in my nutrition courses, that we have about 60,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of them are negative if we're not paying attention. 80% of our thoughts are negative. So if we think of that in the form of the law of attraction, and you're just walking around with this negative cloud of thoughts throughout your day, obviously you're going to start attracting negativity based on the rule or the law of attraction, right? So this one is huge. It's a very, very, very important one. So I'd love for you to get familiar with the law of attraction, maybe do some research on it. If this is a direction you're wanting to go with your health and wellness, is to do the work, to bring in the awareness, and to start setting these patterns in your life that support you in a way that you can find pleasure, in a way that you can start to find peace, in a way that your body can heal. And a stressed body cannot heal. So even our thoughts, those stressful thoughts, are not allowing our nervous system to go into healing and repair, to support us in healing. So that's why this stuff is so important. So law of attraction, of course, I mentioned in the email, if any of you received an email. I first heard about the law of attraction years ago through the book called The Secret. And it was a big thing at the time. I don't know if it was about 15 or 20 years ago. But the secret that someone, I can't remember who the art or the author is, had written this book basically stating that if you think positive, you'll receive that back, right? So one of the things that you could do was picture your parking lot, your parking space in a busy parking lot. You're going to arrive at Costco or wherever, and as soon as you arrive, there's going to be someone pulling out so that you have a spot that's nice and close to the door or wherever you like it. And so trying to manifest these things in your life, manifesting love, manifesting good health, manifesting money. And the secret is simply that you need to think positively. Now, for me, at that time, especially in my life, I tried it. I worked with it here, I worked with it there. Yeah, sometimes it would work, but sometimes it wouldn't. And for whatever reason, I let myself fall into a belief pattern that, and maybe it was lack of awareness, lack of putting the effort in and the intention forward, that maybe that wasn't true, right? So I just kind of, I guess, wanted to experience. I tried it, it didn't work, and then so what else, right? So, with that being said, years later, now that I'm healing, always in the process of healing from chronic pain, from discomfort, from dis-ease in my body and mind, I see now even more how important the secret or the law of attraction really is. And so let's think about this a little bit. So, you know, what could be a thought that we have? Like for me, I think some of the really deep work that I had to do in my yoga trainings on myself were to really visit some of my beliefs, right? So some of my thoughts and beliefs, what were they? And I actually remember at yoga training, one of the other ladies there, we had an assignment to write down all of the people who have wronged you and put them on paper. And so I wrote my list, quite an extensive list of people who I believed had wronged me. And she's older than me. She's in her 60s, I think, at the time. And she looked at me and she said, "You've got to work on that judgment, girl." And so that always stuck with me. And I thought, I have to work on judgment? What? No, I'm not judgmental. And in reality, if you think about it, if I'm writing down all these other people who I believe have wronged me, I'm judging them. I'm judging their actions against me, right? And then I'm a victim because they wronged me or they hurt me. And what I've learned through all the work I've done, and that thought or that statement that she had comes back to me every once in a while, and I've learned that yeah, I have no right to judge how someone else is behaving. I have a right to judge them in a way of removing myself from something that feels unsafe, but I can't point the finger at them and blame them for my outcomes. I'm the one that was there. I chose to be there. And whatever they're going through, whatever drama, whatever pain, whatever trauma, whatever it might be, that's theirs. So giving it back to them and not taking it personally that it's about me. It's not even about me. And so this is where the book comes in that I also mentioned in my email and my post, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, I think is how you say it. This book for me has been a game changer because he teaches you in this book how we all have different perceptions. We're all human and walking around with all sorts of trauma, all sorts of negativity. And at the end of the day, we all have the same heart. We all want to be loved. We all want to be worthy. We all want to be lovable, right? And so we're just doing our best to walk around in this world and try to figure it out. And so I think when he put it into perspective that really, my perception of my reality is mine. It doesn't mean that somebody else has the same perception. It kind of gives you this freedom to say, okay, instead of pointing the finger at them with negativity, you did me wrong, you did this, you did that, turn that finger back towards myself, because really that's all I can control, and look at my thoughts, look at my beliefs, look at what I'm doing in my own being. And so now I've chosen, I don't want to think negatively. I'm going to view every human as perfectly imperfect. Whatever they do to me or somebody else, I have the power to choose whether that's going to actually penetrate my being as a negative or whether I just let them have it. You have to go work on you and deal with your stuff while I work on me and deal with my stuff. And I continue to focus on my negative thoughts and improving them, replacing them with something positive. So the moral of the story basically is that when I realized that I'm putting all this judgment on other people, that they did me wrong, it's because I had a deep belief within me that I wasn't worthy. So if I didn't believe I wasn't worthy, they can't do me wrong because I know I'm worthy. So I know that it's not about me, it's about them. If I believe I'm unworthy and I'm walking around and somebody says something to me that I believe is confirming that I'm unworthy, I'm upset at them. I'm upset at them. I'm letting that come into my belief system. I'm letting it confirm something that I believe. And now I can point the finger at them and say, you hurt me. In reality, I was hurting myself. I was letting that in, right? So now I've done a lot of work on my worthiness, and I believe I am worthy. And so when somebody throws something at me that is negative, a belief that they have about me or whatever it might be, I don't even let it penetrate my worthiness because I know I'm worthy and that's their stuff. So I just let it kind of bounce off and go back to them. I don't take it in. I don't take it personally. So I don't know if this makes sense. I don't know if it sounds overwhelming. I know at first this stuff was it's a lot. It's a lot to contemplate. It's a lot to consider. It's a lot to put into action and explore in your own life, in your own world. And just because I have this belief doesn't mean you have to have this belief, right? We kind of give each other a freedom to be who we are when we turn the finger back towards us and just focus on ourselves. I choose what I believe. You have every right to choose what you believe. And there's no judgment and there's no hurt regardless, or no matter what is chosen. So if you haven't already gone out and got the book, The 4 Agreements, and the stuff is feeling like it's a little bit overwhelming, I highly recommend it. He talks about 4 beliefs, right? So every belief in our experience, we've been given a belief, right? So mine maybe of not being worthy. Maybe that came from as a child. I was in a big family and I loved my upbringing. I thought it was amazing, but there was a feeling sometimes that I wasn't maybe worthy because maybe I got in trouble for something that somebody else didn't, or I took something the wrong way, or whatever it might be. So my experiences started to confirm that I wasn't as worthy maybe as my sister. And I kind of let that belief become my own, right? I chose to let that one in. And as children, we don't know this stuff. So we're just going with it. And now as adults, we kind of have to undo all of that negativity that we allowed to become our own. If somebody was told, maybe if I was told as a child that I was too much, too loud, too overbearing, then I start to quiet. I start to sit back. I start to soften and, tense up. I can't be myself because somebody else has a problem with it. So, looking at your beliefs, your core beliefs, your limiting beliefs, this is one of the things we do in the program. This is why the program is so amazing, because it helps you focus on this stuff within a 9-month period, 3 to 9 month period. I am there to keep you on track, to keep you focused and aware of what's going on for you, to give you tools, to give you techniques, to give you experiences that you can work with to figure this stuff out. So the limiting belief work is to check in and see, what are my core beliefs? You have to start noticing the thoughts. You have to see what's there, what keeps coming up in your world. What kind of thoughts are you having? And the first step to doing that is to remove yourself from your thoughts and observe them. And now this is a big thing in yoga, is that we are not our thoughts. A lot of us think that whatever your thoughts are, that's just who you are. It's not true. We are the consciousness that's observing the human experience. So that consciousness, that soul that you came into your body with, having a human experience, you're able to sit back with meditation, with yoga practices, and observe your thoughts. So you can start getting to the root of your issues and working on them and replacing them and attracting something different. So this is why I've developed this program, is to give you that framework, to give you step-by-step instructions, to give you to set you up in a place that you are safe and you are supported, and you can spend your time working on you. So the Pareto rule, I've mentioned the Pareto rule before. The Pareto rule is that whatever we put our focus into, so 80% of what we put our focus into, or is it 80%? Let me just take a quick look here. I did pull it up. So the Pareto principle states that for many outcomes, roughly 80% of consequences come from 20% of causes. Does that make sense? 80% of the consequences come from 20% of the causes. So you are the cause, right? Whatever you're doing, whatever your thoughts are, whatever you're attracting, thinking, being, is going to be 20% of that is going to produce 80% of your outcome. So again, Pareto rule is basically the law of attraction. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're walking around with, whatever vibration you're sitting in, you are now attracting that same universal vibration into your life. And it totally makes sense. So I encourage you to play with this, to put it out there, to look at your thoughts, to do the work. And the work becomes easier in time because you're forming habits. At first it can be like, oh my gosh, what do I have to go through here? I've got a lot of negative thoughts in here, or beliefs. Oh, I'm going to be here for who knows how long. But that's why you make this a lifestyle of habits, of practices. And I promise, when you focus on yourself, when you do the work, when you truly care enough about yourself and your outcomes in this life, you will be rewarded. It just happens. It's the law of attraction. As soon as you start loving yourself and focusing your energy and intentions on your greatest good, your life starts to show that. So, do you believe in the law of attraction? You can write it in the comments if you do or if you don't. Again, no judgment. I 100% believe in the law of attraction. And my hardest, the thing I struggle with the most, is keeping the awareness of what's going on up here. So when I know that I'm attracting more negative things in my life, I turn my focus back to meditation, back to noticing my thoughts, back to remapping my thoughts, bringing in a positive thought instead of a negative thought. And again, this is all in the program. There's a whole module dedicated to it, so you can spend time figuring this stuff out. And then once you do, you can apply it in your life for the rest of your life. You've got those tools in your toolbox to continue to work with. So the program, it's 3 to 9 months. It's called the Yoga Therapy to Heal Freedom Formula Program. And you have 3 to 9 months to complete it. It's all online and it's pre-recorded. There's step-by-step 12 modules to work through. You have the option to connect with me weekly. And if you're feeling like there's roadblocks or barriers or something that you just can't figure out on your own, I'm there to support you, to help you. And if you stay the course, you could finish it in 3 months. So you could literally have all of those tools in your toolbox after 3 months. You could be well on your way to healing, to rebalancing your body, to letting go of negativity, tension, stress, and to manifesting your desires, whatever that is, getting to your goals. If for whatever reason you feel you need more time, I gave you an extra 6 months to complete it. And I did give you a time frame to keep you focused so that I can kind of check in with you, make sure you're staying focused. Because a lot of my clients say that they're their number one. I ask them what could get in their way of them getting to their goals, and a lot of them say themselves, right? So I understand it's important to have that accountability, to stay the course and to focus. And then once you complete, you've developed all these new habits within a matter of 3 to 9 months. So now they're habits. So you just have to maintain them. And it's easier to do once they're truly a habit in your life. So the program is online, like I said, so you can sign up at any time if you wanted to make a phone call, or I would call you actually, set up a phone call. I've got in the comments the breakthrough pain free 45-minute kind of a consultation call where we connect one-on-one and figure out what your goals are and whether the program is right for you or not. Right? So it doesn't mean that it's necessarily even right for you. You need to qualify for the program. I don't let just anybody into the program. They have to have certain qualities and certain goals and traits within themselves already to be accepted into the program. And so that's a fast track way to get into the program or to figure it out with me and see if it's right for you. The other option, if you're looking for more information, is to jump on the webinar. So I do a free webinar. I'm trying to make it not as long. So 75-minute, I'm hoping to get it down to 60-minute webinar. And I offer them once a month. And so the next one, the one for June, is actually coming up this week. So June 21st, in 2 days on Wednesday, I will have my live free webinar, and I talk about how I healed from chronic pain and any chronic condition. So if you have a chronic condition, an autoimmune disorder, disease, any of those things would qualify for this program because it's based from the root cause of stress, of a body that is in overdrive in stress. So if you'd like to join the webinar, I would love to have you there. I have a special gift for people who come to the webinar, specifically just for showing up and putting the work in, carving the time out in your life to work on you. And so if you stay till the end of the webinar, I have a gift regarding the program. Could be like savings or something like that. So if you're interested in coming on Wednesday, it's at noon on Wednesday. So if you can be there live. And if you can't be there live, that's okay. You can shoot me an email or a text or something requesting a replay if you're not able to come. Otherwise, the next one won't be until probably third week of July. So in the meantime, if neither of those things are working for you, but you still want to do something, I have online classes live Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can join me to try out my classes and kind of see what you're getting yourself into regarding a yoga practice. Or if you're looking for a more one-on-one experience because you've got a lot going on in the body, so a class setting might be too much for you, then you can also reach out for one-on-one sessions. And I do those also online or in person. So if you're in the area of 108 Mile Ranch, you could come in person. And if you're not, no worries. We would meet online via Google Meet for a one-on-one connection there. And then I give you, it's kind of like going to a physiotherapist. I give you different exercises to start balancing and treating the root cause of your disease or your chronic pain or condition right away. And you take those home and start practicing them throughout your week. And then we can meet again for as long as it takes to get you to a point where you're ready to maybe join a class setting or something like that. So, of course, the program is the best option in my opinion because you learn everything in a very brief amount of time. You learn everything I learned in years of going through negativity, pain, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And you learn it all of the training that I did. So I did a yoga therapy training, which is a much more involved, longer training than just any yoga teacher has. And so I've, not only went through the training myself, but then I also have applied it with my clients and I've applied it in my own life. So the program would get you fast tracked to the place that you need to be. But there are other options. So you can let me know what you choose. If you'd like to sign up for the webinar, there is a link in the chat, or if you're on Instagram, you can go to my bio, the link in bio, and that will give you a registration page to join us at noon on Wednesday, June 21st. And if you just kind of want to check out free stuff, I've got a YouTube channel, so I've got lots of information and classes there that you can join for free, and you can practice in your own home. And yeah, otherwise, we've got the Facebook group. There's also a link in the chat to join. If you are on Facebook, you will see the link in the chat. If you're on Instagram and you're not on Facebook, then of course you can't join the Facebook group unless you are part of Facebook. But it's called the Yoga Therapy to Heal, Yoga Therapy for Healthy Aging People with Chronic Pain. And so I post lots of things in there, and there's lots of discussion and things like that that we can have as well. So thank you for joining. It was lovely to have you here today live. And if you weren't here live, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments that you need to reach out to me, you can pop a comment below, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, and I will get back to you. Let's all take a collective breath together. So inhale through the nose, exhale out of your mouth. 2 more. A quick way to de-stress your nervous system instantly. 3 cleansing breaths. Do it a few times a day and enjoy the results.